In this tutorial, we're going to have a look at how you can use polling for your Zoom meetings. Polls are a great way to interact with your members, and you can use them in a variety of ways. For example, they're great for gauging opinion and for getting feedback. You can also use them to check understanding and even to vote. You might find other innovative ways to use them. The best way to set up your polls is by going to the meetings page on the Zoom website. It's a good idea to set up your polls in advance of the meeting. This gives you a chance to focus on getting all your questions right. You can set up and edit polls from the meeting itself, but this just takes you back to the website and can detract from your meeting. In this video, I'm going to focus on how to set up your polls from the website. Then I'll show you how to launch your poll during a meeting. Before we do this, there are a few things that you need to consider. Polls aren't available with the free basic account. So to set up and use polling, you're going to need to have a Zoom license. This means that you'll need to sign up for a paid account. Typically, this would be the Pro account. Only the meeting host can add or edit polls. However, if you have a co-host helping you with your meeting, they will be able to launch polls that have already been created. To launch your poll, you'll need to be hosting your meeting from the desktop app. You won't be able to launch your poll if you're hosting your meeting from a mobile device like a tablet or a mobile phone. So let's go ahead and add a poll to a meeting. I need to go to my meeting page on the Zoom website to be able to do this. I've now signed into my account on the Zoom website and I've been taken to my meetings page. You can see this highlighted to the left of the screen. Before we set up our poll, we just want to check that we have polls enabled. So to do this, you need to go to your settings page. So you just need to click settings over here to the left. This takes you to the settings page. Now it's quite a long page and you can either just scroll down or you can search for the term poll. So if you use Control and F, press them together, a search box will come up at the top of the screen and you just need to type in poll and press return. And this takes you straight down to the poll setting. So all you need to do is to ensure that this is blue. And you just click on the little circle here to turn it on. So that's off. And this is on. And you'll see that my settings have been updated. Now I can return to my meetings page. And I just need to scroll back up and choose the meetings tab to the left. So I'm now in the meetings section and I can see all my upcoming meetings. If you haven't set up your meeting yet, you'll need to do this first by using the Schedule a Meeting button. I've already set up a meeting for my polling tutorial. If I hover over the title, you'll see that I have an option to start or edit this meeting. I just want to access the meeting page, so I just need to click on the title. This takes me to the meeting page for my polling tutorial. This is what your page will look like once you've saved your meeting. To add a poll, I need to scroll down to the bottom of the page, and this is where I'll find the poll section. Right at the bottom of the page, you'll see that I have a message telling me that I haven't created any polls yet. To add one, I just need to click on this Add button to the right. So let's do that now. This brings up a blank poll box. And this is where I'm going to add all the details and the questions for my poll. So let's work through this form. The first thing I need to do is to give my poll a title. It's best to make this meaningful so that it's easy to identify when you're in your meeting. For this poll, I just want to get some feedback for my meeting. So I'm going to call it Meeting Feedback. The next thing I need to consider is this anonymous checkbox. And this needs a little bit of an explanation. When you run a poll, Zoom will produce a report to record all the results. If this box is ticked, it means that the report that Zoom produces will only include the results and not the members' names. The reason it's so important that you tick this box is to ensure that you're complying with Board of Trustees rulings and that you avoid any issues with GDPR around data protection. For now, you just need to ensure that this box is ticked. So I'm just going to tick this box now. If you do need to record your results, you could just make a note of them in the meeting and add them to your minutes. Now we can get on to adding our questions. The number of the question will be placed right here to the left of this box. This tells me I'm on question 1, so I can go ahead and type my question in here. For my first question, I just want to find out how useful the meeting was to my members. So I just need to type in, how useful did you find this meeting? For each question, you have a maximum allowance of 255 characters, so keep your question focused. Below the question, you'll see that there are 2 question types to choose from. Single choice over here means that members can only choose one answer. Multiple choice questions over here allow members to choose one or more answers, so that's a little bit like a checklist. For this question, I'm going to choose single choice. Now I can start to enter in my answer options. There's a line for each answer. Again, you have a maximum of 255 characters for each of your answers, and you can only have 10 answer options for each question. So let me add my answers in here. So I've got 3 choices for this. Very useful. Quite useful. And my final choice is not useful. So I'm quite happy with those 3 answers. I can leave the other boxes empty because I don't need them. If I scroll down, I have the option of adding another question. You'll see that here. There's a little plus sign and add a question. I'm going to go ahead and add a second question to my poll. When I add a question, you'll see that my first question collapses, and I can always get back into it by clicking edit. You'll also see that my second question is numbered over to the left. This time I want to find out if my members are planning to come to the next meeting. So I'm going to add my question in here. Again, I want single choice answers, and I have 3 options that I'd like to give my members. So my 3 options are highly likely, I might attend, or I'm unlikely to attend. You can add as many questions as you need. Now I'm happy with my 2 questions, so all I need to do is to save my poll, and I'll do that by clicking this blue button here. Once I've pressed the save button, I'll be taken back to my meeting page, and I'll see my poll listed at the bottom of the page. You can see over here that Zoom's telling me that I've created 1 poll for my meeting. On this line, I can see details of my poll. I can see the title over here. If I click on this little arrow to the left, you'll see that it brings up my questions and my answers, so it's quite easy to review them from this page. If I need to edit anything, I'll just click this edit button over here and it'll bring up the box again. I'm quite happy with these. If I want to collapse the details, I just need to click on the arrow again. In this column, I can see how many questions I have in my poll, and this final column just confirms that the poll is anonymous. You may want to include more than one poll for your meeting, and that's easy to do. All you need to do is to click on the add button again, and that's all you need to do. My polls are now ready for my meeting. If I need to edit or delete them, I just need to come back to this page. Now, let's head off to our meeting and I'll show you how to launch your poll. I'm now in my meeting and I've been joined by Rachel and Sarah just for this tutorial. They've both got their sound and video turned off, so it's less distracting, and I'm going to turn my video off for the same reason, but you'll still be able to hear me. So we already have our poll set up and they're now ready to launch. So either I can do this as the host or one of my co-hosts can do it. Remember that you need to be hosting your meeting from your desktop app. To preview or launch your poll, you just need to head down to the bottom of the screen. So just hover over the bottom and this menu will come up. And you just need to select the polls item from here. So if I click on that now, I'll be able to see my poll. When this box first appears, you'll always see the first poll you set up. If you've got more than one poll, you just need to click on this little down arrow here and it will show you a list of all the polls that you have for this meeting. And all you need to do is to click on the one you want. So I'm happy to stay with this first poll. I can just review my questions here and then I'm ready to launch the polling. So all I need to do is to click the blue launch polling button. You'll notice that the top of the box has turned green. This indicates that the poll is live, and now all my members will see this box. There's a handy little timer over in the corner here, and this just tells you how long your poll has been running for. As my members choose their answers, I'll be able to see the results start to appear. So let's just give them a moment to pick their answers. The number in the brackets here shows the number of people who've chosen that option, and then you'll have a percentage of all the answers that have been submitted. The results will always appear in this format. They'll always be anonymous and you'll never see any members' names appear. Once your members have submitted their answers, their poll box will disappear. They won't see the results until you end the polling and share the results with them. So let's end the polling now. You'll notice that the green box has disappeared, and up at the top you'll see that the polling has now closed. At the bottom of this box you'll have an option to share the results with your members. There will be times when it's appropriate to share and times when it's not, so you need to make that judgment yourself. In this case, I'm happy to share the results, so I'm just going to click on this button here. Again, you'll notice that the top of the box has turned green, and this just indicates that I'm now sharing the results with my members. This box will appear on everyone's screen until I stop sharing the results. To do this, all I need to do is to click on the Stop Share Results button at the bottom of the box. So I'll just do that now. And you can see that the top of the box is no longer green. This means that I'm no longer sharing anything with my members. The poll box on their screens will disappear. There's just one more thing I'd like to point out. There is a relaunch polling button at the bottom of the box just here. If I wanted to run the poll again, I could click on this button. Be aware that if you decide to use this option, all the existing results will clear. So if I click on that now, you'll see a message come up saying relaunching the poll will clear existing polling results. Do you want to continue? So I'm happy. I'd like to continue with that. And as you can see, this immediately relaunches the poll and it's cleared all the previous results. And again, I can end the polling when I'm ready. Once I've finished with this poll, I can just close the box. And when I'm ready to launch my next poll, I can just click on the polls icon again. And then I can go to this down arrow and click on the next poll. And that will appear. And I can do exactly the same as I did before. And that's all you need to do to set up and launch polls. It might take a bit of practice, and the best way to do this is to experiment. So you could set up a test meeting and add 1 or 2 polls. Then you can invite a few people to join you for the meeting so that you can try launching your polls and sharing the results.